Today we're on our way to Plymouth via Exeter St David's. Hi, my name is Alex and this is Travel Titibits 64, and today we are at Plymouth. So plenty to see here at Plymouth. Already taken a few shots of trains arriving and departing, so let's head into Plymouth itself. So this was the walk from Plymouth railway station down Armada Way, across the Royal Parade and into Hoe Park, and finally the Hoe itself. So this is a memorial on Plymouth Hoe to all the people who lost their lives in the service of the Navy, not just the two major wars, but no doubt a lot of other naval campaigns, not over the years but over the decades. Each of these square plaques, I imagine, will represent a campaign, a Navy campaign. Well, here we are on Plymouth Hoe, and shortly we will be seeing the mouth of the River Plym. We're about 36 miles west of Exeter, and yes, even the area we now know as Plymouth was part of the Roman Empire at one time. The Romans, they occupied a settlement known as Sutton. A charter was allocated to this area, granted market town status, and it wasn't until 1439 that Sutton became Plymouth. In 1588, in the time of Elizabeth I, an English fleet set sail from here and was part of the fleet that defeated the Spanish Armada. In 1620, this is the location where the Pilgrim Fathers set sail and formed a colony in what we now know as the United States of America, which was known at the time as the Plymouth colony. During the Civil War, and in particularly between 1642 and 46, parliamentary forces were stationed here, and they had to say off a siege. 1690 started a long period of dock building, and the Royal Navy, not surprisingly, was the first to benefit from this. Later on, Plymouth became a place where not only passengers departed for the New World and elsewhere, but commodities like tin, copper, lime and china clay. During World War II, the naval docks were of particular importance and were targeted by German bombers. and the city generally took a bit of a beating, and it was known as the Plymouth Blitz in Europe. So we're going to take some views from various places around the front. We've chosen a bright day in early October, so let's take a look round. So this is known as Plymouth Hoe, not to be confused with another hoe in North Devon called Westwood Hoe. It's easily done. These are sweeping views of West Hoe. Oh, lovely day along the coast. And next we're going to see Drake's Island, followed by first look at the Citadel, plus the Lido, which sadly closed about 30 years ago. The outer walls of a citadel, a mighty fortress overlooking the harbour and the open sea. Every larger ship needs a pilot. And I think this counts as being larger. Oil or gas, I'm not sure. These are what I call some cracking walls. Not easily climbed. Not that I'm recommending it. And we're quite close to the harbour. Are all the boats in today? On the other side is the aquarium, and I'm on the third floor of the Mayflower Museum. 1620 was when the Pilgrim Fathers sailed from here, but I don't suppose it looked like this. Restaurants and cafes all around. After checking out the harbour, it was time to wander some of the old and narrow streets before ascending the mysterious Castle Dyke Lane. Well, that concludes a walk round the front of Plymouth Hoe and some of the harbour and the old town. So today this is known as Plymouth, but in 1877 it was Plymouth North Road, and the distance from Paddington is 245 miles. Now before there were many railways around Plymouth. In fact, an earlier station was built in 1849, which was much nearer the front than North Road. Unfortunately, in 1941, it suffered badly in the Plymouth Blitz, and it basically was used for goods until about 1969-71, and then it was no more. There was also another terminus. So these two were Great Western stations. There was another one called Plymouth Priory, which was opened in 1876. So basically it was the LMSR, and it took a northern route, so they crossed over at Exeter St David's, but then it took a northerly route via Oakhampton and Tavistock and came into Plymouth from the west. There was another line that cradled the Great Western for a while, and they crossed over and shared rails, and then it swung off to Friary. That closed to passengers in 1958 and to freight in 1976. Now if you look at the map of old rails around Plymouth, there are just too many to mention. And of course, as we've seen today, some of the docks are now like restaurants and cafes, hotels, museums. So the reliance on rail and shipping has curtailed a little. Anyway, this is our ride home. It's sat waiting. We've got about 30 minutes before it departs. So that was a walk around Plymouth and a little history of the railways around Plymouth. All right, see you next time.